In this video, you're going to explore the two tools we'll be using throughout this section to deploy our Node.js applications. The first is GitHub and the second is Heroku. GitHub is the very popular software development platform which gives us all of the tools necessary to manage software development projects, whether we're working by ourselves or whether we're working with others. And Heroku gives us all of the tools and infrastructure needed to actually deploy our Node.js applications to a production-ready server. To get started, let's explore both tools in the browser, and we'll also create accounts for each. Over in the browser, I'm going to crack open a brand new tab and navigate over to github.com. GitHub, as I mentioned, is a development platform making it easy to manage our projects. This is going to make it easy to track code changes over time, to collaborate with others, and to track bugs, issues, and feature requests. Now, all of those NPM modules we installed, all of their code is actually hosted on GitHub. With GitHub, you can host public or private projects depending on whether or not you want to share that particular code with the outside world. Let's go ahead and get started by looking at an example. What I'm going to do is just Google npm express. This is going to bring us over to the Express package page on npmjs.com. This is a place we have been before. On the right-hand sidebar, near the bottom of this little stats panel, is a repository link. And this actually links over to the GitHub project page for Express. If we visit this, we can see we have all sorts of interesting information about the project. We have issues, we have projects, documentation, and pull requests. A pull request is just a feature suggestion. And if we scroll down, we can learn more about the project. We have all of the files and folders that make up this project. And then down below that, we have documentation for how to get started. So when we create a GitHub project, we are essentially creating one of these. It can be public or private, and we're going to use GitHub to track our project code. So let's go ahead and get started by creating a new account or signing into our existing one. If you need a new account, you can use the sign up form on the homepage, or you can click sign up right here. If you have an existing one, that's fine too. There's no need to create a new account. I already have one. So I'm going to take a quick moment to log in to my existing one. Now, what we see here is information specific to our accounts. So you're going to see different information than what I have here. I have all of my code projects on the left-hand side. I have my feed right in the middle. And on the right, I have some discovery suggestions, which I typically ignore. So now we have a GitHub account created. We don't know how to use it, but that's okay. The goal here is to just get everything set up for the rest of the section. And now what I'd like to do is do the same thing for the other tool we're going to be using, which is Heroku. You can find Heroku on the web by heading over to Heroku.com. Heroku is an application deployment platform. It's going to give us all of the tools and infrastructure necessary to take our application code, our Node.js applications, and deploy them to their production servers. Now, Heroku isn't Node.js specific. You can use Heroku with PHP, Ruby on Rails, Python, Java, and other languages. In this case, though, we are indeed trying to use Heroku with Node. Now, in the end of the day, both GitHub and Heroku are businesses, which means they do have paid offerings. That's how they stay in business. But both also have generous free tiers, allowing you to get started without needing to pay any money or provide any credit card details. And their free tiers are going to be more than enough for us to explore both tools and for us to actually get our applications deployed to production. Now, once again, we're going to need to either log into our existing accounts or sign up for a new one. If you don't have a Heroku account, you can go ahead and click that sign up button. The account is completely free. They just need a few basic pieces of information, which they ask for down below. If you already have an account, you can log into your existing one. There is no need to create a new one for this class. I already have one, so I'll take a quick moment to log in. Now, what we see when we actually log in will indeed be different depending on the particular account. Here, I have a bunch of different projects I've created for clients, as well as many test projects which I've used with my various Udemy classes. So once again, you're going to see something completely different to start. They're likely going to show you some sort of onboarding or welcome screen. That's okay. we'll work through the process of creating and setting up a new project in just a few videos. For now, the goal is to just have an account for GitHub and for Heroku and to be logged in for each. The last thing I want to do in this video is install Heroku's command line tools. These are going to give us access to various commands we can use from the terminal to do things like deploy our latest code changes to the production server, allowing users to see the latest changes to the application. The tools can be accessed by heading over to a new tab and Googling Heroku CLI. This is going to bring us over to an article at the Heroku Dev Center. So here I'm at devcenter.heroku.com. This is the URL that we want. And once we're here at the Heroku CLI article, the first thing they talk about is how to install the tools. There are installers for Mac OS and for Windows, and down below, there are various commands you can run to install it on Ubuntu or other Linux distributions. In my case, I am indeed running on a Mac, so I'm going to take a quick moment to grab the installer. Take a quick moment to grab the installer for your operating system and get the tools installed. I'm going to download the installer, and this is one of those very easy to use click next type installers for Mac and Windows users. All we have to do is continue through the little installation wizard. There is no need to customize any of the options. And once it actually goes through the entire process, we're going to have a new set of commands that we can access from the terminal. Before we wrap up the video, we will take a few moments to explore some of those commands and actually test things out to make sure the Heroku CLI was installed correctly. Right here, the installer has completed. I'm going to close it and trash the installer, and now it's time to test out our new commands. Now, to actually use these, we are going to need to restart our terminal. So from Visual Studio Code, we can use Control-C to shut down NodeMon. Then I can use this little trash can to close the terminal. Now we can open it up again, essentially restarting it. Right here, terminal, new terminal, or note the keyboard shortcut. Become familiar with it as it's super useful. And from here, we can test out our new commands. The Heroku CLI gives us access to the new Heroku command, and we can use this to do all sorts of interesting things. For the moment, I'm just going to use it with the V flag to print the version of the tools we have installed. Now, if you get an error when you run this, you know that things didn't install correctly. You can always crack open a new question in the course Q&A, and we'll work with you to fix that. Otherwise, you should see something similar to what I have here. It starts off with the Heroku version, then there's some additional information about our OS and our node version. The things I have highlighted now are going to look different for you. You should see some sort of Heroku version up front. If you're seeing that, that means Heroku was installed successfully, and the last command we're going to use is Heroku login. This is going to link the commands we run from the terminal with our Heroku account so we can actually manage our projects from right here in Visual Studio Code. Now, when we run Heroku login, it's going to ask us to open up a new tab in the browser by pressing a key. Pretty much any key but the Q key. I'll press space. That's going to crack open a brand new tab in the browser asking us to log into the Heroku CLI. And since I'm already logged into my Heroku account, we just did that a few minutes ago, all I need to do is click the login button. I can see that I have successfully logged in, and it's telling me I can close that tab. And from the terminal, I'm getting some brand new output. Right here, I can see logging in is done, and I can see I am logged in as, followed by my Heroku account email. Right here, you should be seeing a similar message with your email address showing up. If you're seeing that, that means that you're done for the video. You have a GitHub account, you have a Heroku account, and you have access to the Heroku command line tools to create and deploy your node projects. That's where we're going to stop for this video. We're not quite sure how to deploy our projects just yet, but we now at least know what tools we're going to use to get that done. In the next couple videos, we're going to talk about how we'll put all of this together by using version control. I'm really excited to get to that, so stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.